my fiancée declared. "I'm giving you back this ring, because you'll never earn more than my brother." I calmly took the ring and slid a document across the table. It was the deed to the house her brother was currently renting from me. I, Alex, was 28 years old. I worked as a specialized financial analyst. My fiancée, Victoria, was 27. She was a high-end luxury real estate agent. We had been together for 5 years. Our relationship started strong, but grew increasingly transactional. We lived in a cramped, expensive apartment in Miami, Florida. Our combined annual income was around $350,000. I earned a respectable $120,000 from my investment role. Victoria earned about $230,000, heavily reliant on sales commissions. Our lifestyle was entirely based on keeping up appearances. We drove expensive leased cars and spent heavily at upscale restaurants. Our friends were mostly Victoria's clients and fellow agents. Her older brother, Lucas, was always the measuring stick. Lucas earned about $250K a year as a tech sales director. Victoria constantly praised his financial security. He was currently renting a large house in a good suburb. This house was actually one of my early investment properties. Victoria never knew I owned it. I had been secretly interviewing for a monumental career move. A large private equity firm offered me the role of head of acquisitions. The job was in Denver, Colorado. It was a massive promotion, shifting me from analysis to executive deals. The base salary was $400,000. It included a $150,000 signing bonus and substantial equity. This was my moment to finally surpass Lucas and achieve financial freedom. I brought the official offer home on a quiet Tuesday night. Victoria was sorting through high-end jewelry for a client party. I said, "The offer came through, Victoria. It is an incredible opportunity. Head of acquisitions, $400K salary." She barely looked up, only frowning slightly. She asked, "In Denver? That cold, boring place? You are going to take a pay cut for that. You are not executive material, Alex." I said, "The base salary is $400,000, plus a huge $150K signing bonus. This changes everything for us, Victoria." She stood up, laughing dismissively at my excitement. She said, "You are deluding yourself again, Alex. My brother Lucas makes that much money already. You will never be as stable as Lucas. You do not have his solid background. This is a fantasy you need to give up. I am not moving to the mountains for your failure." Her comparison to her brother, whom I financially outperformed, was the final straw. It was not about the job, but about her need to control the narrative. The argument became cold and quiet. I knew then that I was leaving both her and Miami. Update 1. I formally accepted the head of acquisitions role in Denver immediately. I signed the paperwork without telling Victoria. The $400K salary meant I no longer needed her commissions or approval. Her mockery had served its purpose as my final motivation. My immediate priority was securing my assets. When I tried to discuss the logistics again, she became immediately dismissive. I said I need to start transferring my accounts. She shut down the discussion sharply. She said, "I told you to stop with this stupid dream. Denver is cold and remote and dull. You are not capable of that high-level work. Drop it, Alex, and find a job here." She constantly repeated the comparison to her brother. She said, "Look at Lucas, he stayed local and successful. You should try to emulate his stability. You do not have the focus for a big executive job. You will fail quickly and come crawling back." Our friends, completely unaware of the salary, reinforced her low opinion. At a weekend gathering, her friend Chloe gave me a pitying look. Chloe said, "Stick to Miami, Alex. Victoria is right about the cold. Denver is too much responsibility for you. You should just listen to her." I stayed silent, letting them believe her narrative. Their judgment meant nothing to the man earning $400K. I quietly began executing my exit strategy. I liquidated all our joint investment accounts. I opened multiple new accounts in Denver. I finalized the sale of my Miami apartment building. I purchased a lovely condo in downtown Denver for my new life. Crucially, I also prepared a formal, legal document. It was a 60-day notice of termination of the lease. The notice was for my rental property in the suburbs. This was the house Lucas, Victoria's precious brother, was renting from me. The revenge element was slowly falling into place. Update 2. I set the final confrontation scene the following Friday evening. My final checks from the Miami property sale had cleared. I was officially giving my notice at my firm the next morning. It was time for the complete truth. We were sitting on the couch after dinner. I deliberately placed the Denver firm's official contract between us. I had the compensation sheet clearly facing her. I said, I am leaving for Denver in 4 weeks. I have officially accepted the head of acquisitions job. I start my new role on the 1st of next month. She looked at the 400,000 number, her eyes widening in disbelief. Then she immediately picked up the engagement ring. She slid it off her finger and dropped it onto the glass coffee table. She declared, I am giving you back this ring right now. I am not marrying a man who runs away. You are never going to be successful. You will never earn more than my brother. I calmly reached out and picked up the ring. It felt small and meaningless in my hand. I then reached into my briefcase. I slid the new document across the table toward her. It was the formal 60-day notice I had prepared. It was addressed to the tenant, Lucas Peterson. I said, I will take that, thank you. And you might want to call Lucas tonight. He has 60 days to find a new house. I am selling that rental property quickly. She picked up the document, her hands shaking violently. She finally realized the implication. She read the address and the name of the owner, my name. The house Lucas rented from me was my property. She screamed, you own Lucas's house. You have been our landlord all this time. You let us talk about him like that. I said I have owned that property for 3 years now. You chose to mock my income and my potential. I chose to protect myself and my dignity. She gave the final, inevitable ultimatum, her voice breaking. She cried, call that firm and quit, Alex, or this is truly the end of everything. Me or your stupid, selfish ambition. I stood up, feeling a cold, clean certainty. I said I choose the ambition, Victoria, and I choose my self-respect. You can keep the ring, but you lost the man. The confrontation ended with her screaming insults. I simply walked away, leaving her to process the double betrayal. Lucas would be out of his house in 2 months. Update 3. The fallout over the next 2 weeks was dramatic and exhausting. Victoria's initial shock turned into pure, malicious rage. She started shouting insults at me constantly. She yelled, you are a spiteful, cruel monster. You used my own brother as a pawn. I knew you were always a peasant. I remained calm and utterly logical throughout her emotional outbursts. I refused to raise my voice or engage in her manufactured drama. I communicated strictly regarding the division of our shared physical items. She then shifted to tearful begging and desperate bargaining. She pleaded, I will never mention Lucas again. I will come to Denver with you right now. I will support you, I promise, my love. Please, do not sell that house from Lucas. I maintained my detachment, explaining the reality of the situation clearly. I said, the Denver move is not optional. The house sale is legally non-negotiable now. All communication goes through the lawyers. She cycled through deep, theatrical depression for several days. Then the rage would resurface, targeting my core personality. She hissed, you will be miserable in Denver alone. You do not have the social skills for that job. You will fail and lose all your money. I ignored the insults entirely. I finalized the sale of the Miami property. I oversaw the moving company packing my personal belongings. I left a certified letter with my lawyer's contact information. It also contained the final lease termination for Lucas. Moving day arrived, a quiet, humid morning. Victoria was gone. She had checked into a luxury hotel the previous night. I felt only a profound sense of relief as the moving truck pulled away. The emotional drain of Miami was finally over. I arrived in Denver the next day. My new condo was spacious, modern, and high above the city. My new job was immediately demanding and stimulating. I was negotiating multi-million-dollar deals from day one. I felt respected, energized, and deeply valued by my new partners. My new life was one of genuine progress and fulfillment. Update 4. Over the next 6 months, I experienced exponential growth. I was fully settled into my new role. The head of acquisitions title suited me perfectly. My focus was purely on complex financial modeling and large-scale deals. I joined a mountaineering group to help acclimate to the altitude. I made new, kind friends who valued competence over cash. My financial success was undeniable. I spearheaded a major acquisition within the first quarter. My firm was extremely pleased with the $25 million deal. I immediately received the full $150,000 signing bonus. I used a large portion of that money for another property. I bought a luxurious, fully furnished townhome in a key Denver neighborhood. It was secured entirely in my name. The confused messages from Miami started soon after. Victoria's sister, Clara reached out on a mutual platform. Clara asked Alex, "What is going on? Victoria told us you lost your job. She said you were living in a tiny studio apartment. Why did you sell Lucas's rental house?" I was direct and unapologetic in my response to her family. I texted I was promoted to head of acquisitions. I bought a large townhome here last month. Lucas was a tenant, and I sold my investment property. Victoria is lying about the entire situation. I politely answered Clara and Victoria's mother. I ignored all messages from her former friends entirely. They were too quick to judge my ambition before. Her lies were clear and completely self-serving. She was telling everyone that I was fired for incompetence. She was claiming I sold the rental property out of desperation. Her narrative made her the tragic victim of a financial failure. I knew the truth, and that was all that mattered. Update 5. After closing another successful deal, I decided it was time to drop the full truth publicly. I posted a professional update on LinkedIn detailing my new title. The post highlighted the prestige of the Denver firm. It included a detailed summary of the recent multi-million-dollar acquisition. The corporate profile explicitly listed my $400,000 base salary and my executive status. The reaction was immediate and overwhelming. Victoria's entire professional network saw the truth. They realized the scale of the executive role she had mocked. She found out the true salary, the signing bonus, and the prestige. The pleading messages from Victoria started flooding my professional email. She was frantic and clearly devastated by the loss. She emailed Alex, "I am so sorry, I was stupid. I never truly meant what I said to you. I was just jealous of your amazing success. I love you, please, let us talk about the wedding." My former friends and colleagues started sending panicked apologies. They realized they had been completely duped by Victoria's narrative. Chloe, the friend who mocked me, sent a long apology. Chloe wrote, "I feel absolutely terrible, Alex. Victoria told us you were just doing analysis. She said the salary was barely $80K. Congratulations on the partner role, truly amazing. My family was completely validated by the public display of success. They had always been supportive of my financial endeavors. My sister called me immediately. She said you handled that perfectly, Alex. She only cared about Lucas's false status. You are now officially unstoppable. We are so proud of your integrity." The public validation was immense and deeply satisfying. Victoria's attempt to paint me as a failure had utterly collapsed. The shame was now completely hers to carry. Update 6. 8 months after the move, Victoria showed up at my Denver condo building. I was retrieving mail from the lobby one afternoon. She looked thin, tired, and deeply distressed. She was dressed down, a visible departure from her usual luxury attire. She immediately rushed over to me, trying to regain the closeness. She said, "Alex, I flew here just to see you. I have realized my colossal mistake. I cannot live without you anymore. I want to move in and start over." I remained calm and completely unresponsive to her emotional display. I stood firm and kept my hands in my pockets. I said, "You should have contacted my lawyer. Our divorce is proceeding quickly now. You should not be here, Victoria." She insisted she had undergone a total personal change. She begged, "I have changed. I swear it. I appreciate your ambition now. I will never pressure you again. We can get married immediately." I called out her past insults and her constant financial shaming. I said, "You said I would never earn more than your brother. You called me a financial failure and a peasant. You gave me the ring back because of your pride. You prioritized Lucas's rental status over my future." She started crying uncontrollably, claiming she was humiliated and desperate. She pleaded, "I hit rock bottom when Lucas was forced out. I understand the value of a good man now. Please, I only want to be with you." I offered her the cold, decisive truth, ending her last hope. I said, "You did not change, Victoria. Your circumstances simply changed dramatically. You regret losing the $400K salary and my stability. You do not regret treating me badly. I want you to leave this building immediately. Do not force me to involve security." I watched her walk away, defeated and completely alone. I felt a cool, justified triumph. I immediately called the building manager to report the trespass attempt. Update 7. Victoria's desperation led to a final, brutal legal and social escalation. Her lawyer sent a letter demanding a massive sum for shared intellectual property. She claimed I used her real estate market insights for my acquisitions deals. The claims were entirely frivolous. My lawyer efficiently dismissed every claim. My acquisitions deals were based on complex, non-public data. My work was entirely separate from her residential real estate focus. The financial claims were ruled as unfounded harassment. My lawyer stated, "She has no standing, Alex. This is a last-ditch attempt for a payout. We are filing a motion to block future contact." Failing legally, Victoria launched a venomous social media campaign. She created new, anonymous profiles. She began posting angry rants about a heartless landlord. She called him a cruel money grubber who evicted her poor, struggling brother. The campaign backfired spectacularly within her own social circle. Lucas, already displaced, was forced to defend himself. He knew the truth about my new job and Victoria's betrayal. Lucas sent me a private text. Lucas wrote, "I know you sold the house. I knew I was only renting. Victoria is destroying herself with these lies. I am on your side, not hers, Alex." The social posts were quickly identified as relating to Victoria. Her former colleagues, knowing about the Aries partner status, called her out. They realized she was angry because I had moved on to immense success. The campaign was instantly discredited. Her public display of malice secured her professional and social isolation. I was completely shielded from the fallout, focusing on my successful new life. Update 8. 1 year later, my life was a picture of stable, abundant success. I was 29 years old and a vice president at Aries Design. My base salary had reached $500,000. I had purchased another small investment property in a high-growth area. My financial freedom was now absolute and secure. I was in a loving, committed partnership with Elena. She was an accomplished physician who valued my work ethic. Our relationship was characterized by mutual respect, shared ambition, and quiet support. I had built a life with genuine substance and depth. I received a final email from Victoria. It was short, reflective, and offered the last piece of closure. She wrote, "I found a quiet job in Arizona. I am finally trying to be financially independent. I was a toxic presence in your life, Alex. I admit I destroyed everything because of my own pride. I hope you find all the peace you deserve." It was the first truly honest moment of self-reflection from her. It confirmed that she had acknowledged her betrayal. I responded politely and simply. I texted, "I have found my peace, Victoria. I wish you the best in Arizona." That was the absolute final word. I closed the email and never looked back. The long, difficult chapter was finally over. Final update: 2 years after I left Miami, I attended my new business partner's wedding in San Diego. The bride's father was a very close friend of Victoria's father, Paul. I was introduced to Paul at the reception. He approached me with visible shame and sadness. Paul said, "Alex, I am heartbroken to see you here. I owe you an apology for my entire family. We were so cruel to you over your career. We raised Victoria to be entitled and obsessed with status. We are deeply sorry for the way she treated you." He confirmed that Victoria was still struggling to rebuild her life. He admitted that their focus on money and social status had ruined her. His apology was sincere, coming from a place of deep parental regret. It was the final, total vindication of my difficult choice. I reflected on my journey as I flew back to Denver. Victoria's betrayal was my greatest catalyst. Her mockery of my $400K ambition freed me from her emotional and financial cage. I used her contempt to drive my entire professional ascent. I learned that success is the most powerful form of revenge. Never let anyone close to you use your goals as a weapon against you. You must cut the cord quickly and decisively. My life lesson for all of you is this: your partner should be your greatest advocate, not your greatest obstacle. If they constantly use your family, your income, or your potential to control you, they are a poison. Leave them immediately and build a life that is so successful they can only watch from afar. I am Alex, and I am now a vice president. I am happy, financially free, and building a life of profound substance with Elena. I am finally and completely fulfilled.